Well, howdy. I am Charlie Simons, your host here on Do Not Talk. Talk about two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion. One decides what life is going to be like here on earth, the other one decides what it's going to be like when we leave it. Makes it kind of important. And the silent majority has finally found its voice. We just need to get louder. With the assassination of Charlie Kirk and with what we saw, that horrific crime, that murder on that light rail train in Charlotte, North Carolina, that poor woman, 23 years old, escaping war torn Ukraine to come to the United States of America for a better and safer life. That was a hate crime, but yet no one in the media is calling it a hate crime. That piece of crap who actually stabbed her in the throat 3 times said, "I got that white woman." Didn't see that on the NBC Nightly News with whoever's hosting it now. No longer Lester Holt. I am done. I'm done with it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the left. I'm sick of what they do. I'm sick of the crap that they pull, especially the whole homo mafia, as they call it. I don't call it the LGBTQ because I don't let the left dictate the language, the English language. That's not what they are. They're homosexuals and they're very radical and they've been doing school shootings, mass shootings. And now one of them is taking out Charlie Kirk, allegedly. They're now saying he may not have even, it might not have been his bullet. He might not have even fired. There's all kinds of, it's just awful. It's ugly. It's ridiculous. And good people have to speak up. Good people have to finally strap on a set, basically, and get brave, get tough, get vocal. And there's a woman I want you to meet named Shannon Kessler. And she's been doing that for a while now. She's fantastic. She's in the Central Coast of California. Oh, California again, Charlie. Yeah, we don't even live there. We escaped California, whatever. We moved to the United States of America. Okay, I got it. All right. I'm sorry you left because we need good people like you, but I don't blame you either. But those of us who are left are still fighting as hard as we can to restore some sanity to our state, to our United States of America. We're trying. So I'm excited for you to meet Shannon Kessler. Before we do, though, I wanted to ask you to try out something. Try a product that I have in my life now, and I'm so glad that I did. And you can find out more about it at nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons. My middle name will get you a nice discount on products like this. The big thing right now is collagen. Everyone's talking about collagen, but what kind of collagen are you getting? Where is it from? What's in it? What's included in it? These folks here at nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons actually include their ingredients. Imagine that. Look at the ingredients in there, including mushroom and everything else, not just collagen, naturally derived collagen. And they also have many other great products, especially if you're into, like me. I'll be real honest with you. I'm heavier than I should be. I'm still about 20 pounds over where I should be. So I'm going to start this. It's called Nitro. Nueva Nitro, and a great weight loss product, and energy, and it's got some caffeine, but not crazy caffeine, not jittery, give you high blood pressure and heart problems caffeine. It's not like an energy drink, and it's all natural. Again, they include the ingredients in it, and it's Nueva Life, backed by science, built for lifestyle. And you can do like me. You can you can be a distributor. I actually signed up. That's the company I'm working with, and I'm very glad to be. And if you want to support me and support the show, and you're interested in these products and find out more about them, include my name at the end there, nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons, and get started. Even if you just buy the product, just use my name. You'll get a promo code, or as a promo code rather, and you'll get a nice discount. So I hope you'll do that, please. For me, do me a favor. Just check it out. Write that down and check it out after the show. Nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons, CharlieSimons. All right. What are we talking about today? Oh, I don't know. How about a little bit of
I
this?
have gender skin color dysphoria.
Yep.
I am a white lesbian trapped in a black man's body. I'm 6 months pregnant and I love my husband, but the LGBTQ community won't accept me.
I know that's parody, but it has gotten every bit that insane. Let's talk about it. Shannon Kessler, you ready? Hit it.
Hi, Charlie.
Well, hello, my friend. How are you?
Doing great this morning.
I'm glad to hear that because you are a busy, busy woman. And not only that, but you're doing what I've been saying all along. Nothing will change until we get good people running for office. You've never held office before and you're running for assembly.
That's correct. I decided to go straight to the state where it seems like the most damage is coming down.
Things are happening now that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. I really didn't. And I don't understand it. But the one thing I don't understand the most is our can't speak for yourself, but for you. But I am a Christian, follower of Christ Jesus, and I pray that you are as well. I've been amazed at the pastors and the churches that are embracing the whole homosexual community. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. Jesus sat down and talked with everybody and anybody, especially the ones that he wasn't supposed to talk to, the ones who were supposed to be that were deemed unclean. Do not talk to those people. Well, those are the people Jesus talked to. But it wasn't to say, you know what? That's great that you made that choice. And we embrace that. And I love everybody. That's not how he talked to them. He said, what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing goes against God's will, God's plan. What you're doing is going against God's word. You're living in sin. You got to
Yeah.
give that up.
And he
And
said that to anyone. Yeah.
he's the way, the truth, and the life. What's that?
Yeah. He said, and I love about Jesus is he applied that to everyone, to the woman at the well who was living with her fifth, quote, husband, to the Pharisees who were dead men's bones, inside whitewashed tombs. So he loved the sinner and he hated the sin. And he called that out. He didn't mince words on that. And that is the way we need to live as Christians nowadays as well.
Tell us about your organization, your group that is fighting against this insanity, especially in schools.
Yes, I founded Save Girls Sports Central Coast, and that was an offshoot of a ministry that I founded a couple of years ago, which was actually a Turning Point faith ministry called Culture Impact. And learning the Constitution and understanding the law, I realized that what our state and even our local school boards were doing in schools is unconstitutional. And I have a voice. We have a voice. I found when I started speaking at our local school board meetings in Lucia Mar Unified School District here in southern San Luis Obispo County, California, that it emboldened teen girls that were experiencing a biological male in their locker room, sports, and bathrooms to speak. So 3 girls came and spoke, and they just needed me to model that. And I'm not in this situation now, but I am a former female athlete. And I don't want my daughter's generation to lose the right to sports and fair sports that we gained. We just simply gained with Title IX in 1972. So I'm the first generation that benefited. And then my daughter's generation would actually lose girls' sports. And that's how it's going right now.
Yeah, it is. Girls, young girls are being robbed of scholarships. They're being robbed of awards and trophies and things because they worked so hard to be as good as they could at their chosen sport. And then some dude, some freak comes in and goes, hey, I'm a girl too, by the way, and I'm going to be competing against you. And you have to let me. You not only have to let me, you have to applaud it. You have to celebrate it. And I'm going to steal everything that you've worked for. Now, men have spoken up. I've seen dads really go after this, but I've been amazed at the lack of a voice from women themselves and the girls. The girls are afraid to say anything. The girls will be kicked off the team if they dare say hey, this is wrong. I don't like this, especially this dude standing around in the showers with us.
Yeah, we do have girls speaking up now, but unfortunately, they are the minority because it takes a strong degree of fortitude to step forward in this. They get mocked in school. The most disturbing to me is how they're treated by the school administration, who have
Exactly.
also been indoctrinated. That's the difference between this generation and our generation, is that these young teachers and counselors have been indoctrinated to believe this or intimidated into participating in the lie to say that a boy can be a girl or eventually become a girl, or a man can become a woman, or even the other way, that a female can become male. And I know this firsthand. I'm a survivor of anorexia. So I had body dysphoria. As a teen, I did not like my body. I thought that my body was fat, which is absolutely wrong. I spent years malnourished. And my family, when they realized this, I was naturally skinny anyway, but when they realized that I didn't have energy to even ride my beloved horses, they treated it and counseled me, and so did my doctor. And thank God for that. Imagine, Charlie, if they would have enabled my own body dysphoria, my belief that I was fat at 110 pounds at 5'9", they would have enabled me to starve myself to death. So I believe it's a comparable disorder that I had as a teen. And these children have body dysphoria, gender dysphoria. They need to not be enabled in that mental challenge. They need to be helped and told the truth.
California has made it to where if you even encourage someone to get counseling, especially Christian counseling for your dysphoria, whatever it is, sexual or otherwise, you can be charged for that. You can be, I mean, that's what California is now. And we've allowed that. We continue to let these people in tremendous positions of power dictate the insanity for the rest of us. And I can't even get my own fellow Christians to get registered to vote. Only about 40% are even registered. They don't show up for the midterm, and they don't show up for the primary elections, and that's deciding who's going to the big election. They don't even show up for that. It's in the teens.
Yeah,
How do
that's a
we
good point.
how do we
And that's
change anything if they're not going to get involved?
and that's part of what we're doing with these church groups. Turning Point Faith is part of that, and as a leader, I was helping register voters, because yes, if we could get every Christian who's even attending church to register and vote according to biblical values, then we could swing California back to standard traditional values. And that doesn't mean it's oppressive. There's this brainwashing going on that to live in a traditional culture is oppressive, but it's not. Our founding fathers could see. They didn't try to create a theocracy. They had that opportunity. They didn't create a monarchy. They didn't create a theocracy. They didn't even create, thank God, a straight democracy. They created a constitutional republic, which gave us all a voice, and the intention was local representation. So our school board should respond to us parents in their area. Our state assembly members, our congressional representatives should listen to us and not the teachers unions and the Democrat Party. They're all going in lockstep against the Constitution and against their own constituents.
The teacher unions, CTA, California Teachers Association, which doesn't sound like a union, but it is. It's the largest union in the nation.
Yeah.
They are wicked, downright wicked in what they do. And I don't know about where you are, but in NorCal, we flipped a lot of school boards, thank God. But now the administration is bypassing school boards completely and just flat out doing things and saying, we're going to do it. We know better than you. So why don't you just sit down and shut up? And they've got the homosexual crowd showing up in mass to these different school board meetings, chanting, screaming, wailing, gnashing of teeth, holding up their pre-made signs, which I'd like to know who makes those, screaming about, oh, we've got to protect our trans youth, which is like 0.5% of the nation. That's what a constitutional republic is all about. Yes, it's not the will of the people, but that's how they treat it, don't they?
Yes. And I want to, that's why I want to run for state assembly. I've been speaking for girls for, and among other things, in school boards and at California Interscholastic Federation, and to our state representatives. I've been speaking, girls have been speaking, other organizations, California Family Council and Save Girls Sports, and Sonia Shaw, also a brave advocate running for Secretary of Education here in California.
Thank
So
God.
she's a
How's she
friend.
doing? Does she stand a chance?
I believe so. She's a friend and an advocate for girls' sports, but among other things, that's why we're going straight to the state. She's been serving at school board. I've been speaking at school board. I'm on a support team that helps and recruits people to run for school board. So I do believe that here we can flip our school board in 2026. We have enough candidates that are willing to actually listen to parents' will. But they kept telling me when I would speak to them, we have to follow state law. So that motivated me. Let me go to state and change that law, because we do have our vast minority of conservative representatives. They're not only Republicans, some are independents. I don't know right now if there are any Democrats brave enough to stand against this, but in our state, they did introduce bills last session that would have defended girls' rights to privacy and fairness in sports and spaces, but they were shot down by the Democrat supermajority. I find it hard to believe that every woman Democrat particularly actually is for this, is actually for males endangering girls and invading their privacy. But they, for some reason, they're under such control of the teachers unions, of the Democratic Party, that they vote for whatever woke idea gets pushed down from the most radical. That's the problem. The extreme of that side is pushing an agenda, and there's no compromise going on.
No, not at all. In fact, they shut us out of everything. We're not even part of planning sessions. Everything's behind closed doors. It is insane. And if it were the other way around, they'd be squealing like little girls about it. But they have the supermajority, like you said. So, Lord willing, you win your race. Let's say AB 495, which makes it so that anybody can print out a form and fill it out and then show up at your kid's school or daycare or charter school or any kind of club and say, yeah, the parents aren't coming, so I'm going to be taking this child. This is crazy. It's on Governor Hairdo's desk right now, AB 495.
Yes, and I urge everyone to call his office and tell him to veto it. It's with a slew of other bills. I've posted videos on my Facebook, Instagram, and you can call him. They sneaked it through, frankly, Charlie, while we were mourning Charlie Kirk. We had paused it. It went into suspense. So we knew that it could rear its ugly head again, AB 495. Well, now it sits on Governor Newsom's desk, and we need to call him. Of course, you can email him. You can go on his website. You can click a form. But I like people, thank you for the phone number. I like people to call, because I have worked with legislators and they really notice the phone calls. Imagine this. You're taking up their phone so that they can't use it for their nefarious activities. Their staff is answering these calls. And when you call, insist the staff take your name and number. Let them know you represent your church, your citizens group, your entire family with this call. Don't let them just hang up on you. And I've had them do that to me. I'm always polite, but I'm firm. I say, I want you to take my name. I'm a constituent, and I want Governor Newsom to veto AB 495. And there are other bills that you can find on my
771. 771 is a very wicked bill.
Yeah, so it's relentless, and that's why I'm running for state office. I feel the house is on fire in Sacramento, and those of us with the right values, like first responders, need to run in and try to save it for our children and our grandchildren.
His phone number, in case you didn't see what I held up there, is 916 area code 445-2841. That's right to his office. That's 916-445-2841. 916-445-2841. 2841. She's right. It does have an effect. And the best part about it is many of the other legislators, if these things get vetoed, They've already passed through all the committees and everything else. Now they're sitting on his desk. He's got to decide whether he wants to go ahead and try and explain this to the nation when he runs for president in 2028. So no better time to get him to change direction, even if it's just through a veto. But unfortunately, with a supermajority, they can easily override a veto if they wanted to.
That's the problem with our California Assembly and Senate, and there's just a supermajority of Democrats who are voting together on everything. I don't believe they're reviewing it for how it applies to their district, their constituency. And we've got to make them know that they're not representing their constituents. So do call your own representatives, talk to them, go to their meetings, and go to their town halls. But we want you to peacefully engage with them. But also, we want you to run for office. I'm running. I have served on the Parks Commission before. I've been a PTA president from before PTA went super woke. This is, back when my kids were small. I've been involved. I've been a citizen speaking. You can do that. You can go to your school board, your county supervisors, your city council. But please, we do need to just, let's say, grow a pair and run for office ourselves.
Exactly. Strap on a set. That's what I always say. There's going to be, it's easy to do through your board of, the people who run the elections in your county. Can't believe I can't think of the name of that right now. Registrar of voters.
Yes, go to your county clerk recorder in your county. You can see which positions are up.
And there's a lot. There's a lot. You could even, if you're retired, you could have yourself a nice little supplemental government job income and all the perks that go with it, including the health care that we never get to see on the private side. It's easy to do, and there's a whole list of offices, and many of these people who run on the left are uncontested. They run by themselves because none of us has stepped up and said, "I want to be dog catcher. I want to be on the board of this or the board of that, whatever." There's so many things. Just getting your name on there, and if they see it, of course, it's supposed to be a nonpartisan position, but what a load of crap. The left loves their little positions of power. They love to run for the board of supervisors, which they get paid a lot of money, by the way, city council, and so on. They love their little positions of power, and they go unopposed because we don't step up and run against them.
Yeah, and there's help out there. Go to your local Republican Party. Even the independents and the libertarians are rising up here in California. I just hope at the time it comes to vote, they would objectively look at who's going to actually win and get behind the person that most stands for small government and freedom of religion and freedom of speech. Because you're right, that's being infringed dramatically here in California. Even your Second Amendment rights. People come after us for this, and they came after Charlie Kirk. I do believe in the right to keep and bear arms. That's fundamental to our founding fathers. And that assassin, that young man, that disturbed young man is the one who killed Charlie Kirk. A gun did not kill Charlie Kirk. A gun is nothing but a tool.
The nutbag did. Yeah.
Yep.
Another trans, by the way, which is just they're something's going on. Something's happening with that people group. They're turning extremely violent, and they're doing their father's work just as quickly as possible, for his time is short, and their father is the father of lies. So we got to stand up. I believe Ephesians 5:11 is the most powerful thing for us right now. Be no part of the works of darkness, but instead even expose them. We can start by actually getting registered to vote, registertovote.ca.gov. Start there. And if you don't want to vote as a Republican, that's fine. But then we won't have your voice in the Republican primary, and we need you there. So
we do. People like me need your voice. I need your vote in the Republican primary to make it beyond that. And so many of us, people are rising up. I encourage you to do so as well. Anyone out there who's willing to run for assemblies, we are vastly outnumbered, but it's partly because we have allowed it to happen. And the time is now. If you're waiting for the battle, it's here, it's around you, and we've got to save California for our kids and our grandkids. I'm not leaving. I'm a 6th generation Californian, and I'm fighting for this state where my ancestors immigrated in the 1850s. They worked hard. They worked harder than we do just for basic necessities. We've been blessed by this state. So let's make sure our kids and grandkids can enjoy that quality of life. I respect that many people have left. I'm a realtor. I've made giant commissions selling their houses in this beautiful part of the Central Coast. But I would rather that people with my values, with your values, stayed and helped us take our state back.
Is my experience where you're talking about San Luis is pretty left, but Paso Robles, Arroyo Grande,
Yeah.
some of the areas in the Central Coast are quite conservative, but yet they're not being represented properly, are they
Yeah.
now? Because we're not getting involved, we're not stepping up, we're not even voting. And
Yeah.
how is who are you running against? So who's the incumbent?
The incumbent, her name is Dawn Addis, and she is a Democrat. I don't see much of her. She's not very involved. With Save Girls Sports, I've submitted multiple requests to meet with her, with our organization, just 4 of us, 5 of us, me, a couple of moms, and 2 of the girls whose videos have gone viral on Fox, telling their story about changing in a locker room with a biological male watching them. And another girl locally who changes in her car. She just circumvents the whole locker room so that she doesn't have to deal with him. She just waits till nobody's coming and she quickly changes in her car. So this is what the girls are dealing with in our area. These 2 girls have spoken up. I want Dawn Addis, our Democrat representative here in District 30, to meet with these girls. They're her constituents. Their moms are her constituents. I'm her constituent. And I get the runaround from them. From her staff, I get, well, if you had done your research, then you would know that Dawn stands proudly by the LGBTQIA++, however many there are behind it now. And I said, no, wait, it's not even about that. I'm asking her to meet with her constituents, with a couple of teen girls who are going to be able to vote by the time she's running again. And I still haven't gotten an appointment. We have filled out the forms, the security forms, no appointment. That's so she's not representing us. And frankly, she's supposed to represent us whether we voted for her or not.
It's easy to be on the left. It's real easy to be on the left. You don't really have to stand for much of anything other than whatever the world is telling you to stand for. And to take a bold step against it, they get targeted. And I'll bet you have. What kind of stories have you got? Have you been doxxed by the homo mafia, as I call them? Have you had them come after you and threaten you? Have you gotten death threats? I have.
Yes, I have received death threats. My husband and we're in the process of getting our concealed carry permits to defend ourselves. I'm not afraid. I won't be stopped. I know where I'm going if and when I die, and I just don't know the day. So like Charlie, I'm not afraid to die, and he's a role model. He inspired me to run for office. So I have been doxxed and gotten texts and threats on social media, and numerous people have come. And I noticed out of town license plates at our last school board meeting that went viral when a couple of girls spoke and when I made a call for people to come. I noticed out of town plates on the mafia from the other side, the ones who think we're discriminating. And, that's a lie right there. We're not asking for these trans identifying young people to not be in the school. We have never asked for that. We are asking for them to not be in the locker room that does not match their biological sex. How easy is that? There's also a state law that every school is supposed to supply a gender neutral restroom so that the girls can feel comfortable, the boys can feel comfortable. There's even, it's happening on both sides now, both girls in boys' locker rooms, boys and girls. These poor kids have been confused by the lies, and they could change in a private gender neutral bathroom. Those are available. They're building one on one of our local high schools because it didn't have one. So that's an accommodation right there. People are always saying, oh, how do we deal with this? Well, they could be using a separate facility. The girls shouldn't have to be the ones expected to accommodate this. But at meetings, I've been called a hater, and I'm not a hater. I simply disagree. And I'm willing to use my First Amendment rights to speak for others and to ask them to follow the original intent of Title IX. I've been threatened. I've been told that they're going to have their next march is going to be in front of my house. And then they post my address on social media. And thankfully, I haven't actually been harmed or injured, but we've installed a security system at our home to a degree that we've never had before, simply because of these threats. But it won't stop me, because the mission's too big.
On top of everything else, you and your husband run a business,
We
a
do run two
successful business.
businesses.
You've been doing it for a
Yeah,
while.
thank you.
Have they targeted that?
Not, I haven't noticed yet. I do see that when I post a video, they'll go on and all the views of our construction company will increase. And my real estate business, I've had people threaten me in meetings, mock me, and say, when the resolution I proposed didn't pass, when 5 of our school board members voted against protecting girls' rights, we do have 2 good school board members in our area who want to protect the girls. Then the other side was shouting, "Get a hobby, Shannon." They try to focus on me. They mention my name every time they go up there, and I have never mentioned the names of these trans identifying young people. It's not about them. It's about protecting the girls. These kids are under 18 too. Even if I disagree with what they're doing and what their parents are enabling, then I'm not going to bring them personally into it. They're a child. They need protection. They need the truth. So I don't appreciate them attacking me by name in their speeches and articles and social media posts, asking people to make me a target. But I'm not afraid. I won't stop because of that.
I want to focus on something you just said about the parents allowing it. The parents of these trans youths, which there really is no such thing. You're a cross-dresser. You decide you want to be a girl. You decide you want to be a boy. Go for it. Do what you want. But the parents are not discouraging it. Many of the parents are encouraging it because they love the feeling. They feel downright empowered by, they brag about it. I always say this: how can you tell there's a vegan in a room full of strangers? Give them 5 minutes; they'll tell you. It's kind of the same thing with these parents who have these kids that are claiming to be the opposite sex. They downright brag about it. Well, as a parent of 2 trans youths, and everybody cheers and applauds. Oh, how brave you are! What the hell is brave about that? But
Yeah,
you're
it's
right; they allow it.
right now. It is like having a designer handbag on
Yes,
the woke people. It's the trendiest thing that you can have if
yes.
you are a leftist activist. And
It's
I
weird.
have noticed that there's a giant proportion of these young people are the children of very vocal activists on social media or locally, or members of a certain party, and these kids, and then they immediately get affirmed. And so I feel bad for these kids who are in this stage in their life. Who feels comfortable as a teenager, especially in junior high when you're going through puberty? It's a hard road for all of us. We all went through it. And what your
Yeah.
parents need to say is, "Yeah, I remember feeling that way. It's going to get better, and you're going to get used to it, and certain things are gone. It's part of becoming an adult." We should be encouraging and welcoming a person's natural growth, leaving their poor body alone to do what it's
Until
meant.
they have allowed the medical profession to jack with their own kids. There's no
Right.
returning from that. There's no
I don't
returning,
understand. I don't
especially
understand
prison
that.
kids.
You should be
I don't either.
protecting your kids. At
Yes.
the very least, pausing. What other thing do we allow teenagers just to run headlong into? We know that they need guidance, they need love, they need truth. They don't need lies. It's a lie that a boy can become a girl and a girl can become a boy. So imagine when they wake up to that and they realize that they can never have what you've told them they can have. Then they're depressed. They feel let down. And how do they come back from all that affirmation that they've been getting? It's really hard to get off of that high of being told how brave and how noble you are, when what they need is love, and to not be put in a public profile as a child of that age. They need to just grow as they're intended to grow into a woman. That's what we were designed to do.
You don't see it in the media, but there's a huge proliferation, unfortunately, tragically, of suicide with these kids who have transitioned and then regretted it and realized what they had done, and they cannot change it. Physically, they've already been altered, and they kill themselves. And then these clowns on the left turn around and say, oh, it's because you never affirmed their gender fluidity. You never affirmed their choice. It's because of you. You're the problem. You're the reason why they're killing themselves. They're saying this crap in school board meetings. I'm like, where are your facts? Why don't you? Of course, you don't find it. Good luck finding it. Don't Google any of that, by the way. Go to a search engine that actually gives you the truth, because Google never will. If you want to look up these kind of statistics, it's staggering. It's tragic. It's awful. But ultimately, my apologies if you don't feel this way, but I do believe it's all part of the whole 2030, 2035 agenda, the new world order, the one world government, and the depopulation, especially the United States of America. If you can take down the U.S., you can take down the rest of the world. And that is, I think, a lot of this, because they don't procreate. They can't procreate. They'll never have kids. If they kill themselves, great. We're all about the depopulation, because there's too many of us on the planet. The planet can't sustain us, which is another huge lie.
It is a giant lie. I agree. And it's a Marxist tactic. We absolutely know that. It's a Marxist tactic to create division, like they've done, to create division even within your own body. And it's an attack on truth itself. So, I recommend, What is a Woman, the film by Matt Walsh, that just explores this, just with simply him asking that question of people. I know what a woman is, and I'm running for office. So would you like to have someone who actually knows what a woman is, who actually is a woman? And I was a tomboy. That did not mean I was not a girl. My family never told me, oh, because you like to climb trees and ride motorcycles and horses and get dirty, you must be a boy. Erica Kirk has a beautiful video out there where she became Miss Arizona. She was a beauty queen who grew up a tomboy. It's a beautiful thing. And, we are individuals. None of us are meant to be exactly like one another, but we are either male or female. It's that clear. And if you can get people to question even that fundamental truth, then they'll question every other truth. I'm a fan of reading, and I love George Orwell's 1984, where Big Brother kept telling people 2 + 2 = 5. 2 + 2 = 5 until, and the repercussions for not agreeing with it were shame and losing your job and actual even torture and separation from culture. So people eventually just said it because it was easier. Problem is, once you break down truth, you have nothing else. I also appreciate Alexander Solzhenitsyn, escapee from the gulags in Russia, for speaking truth. He said, live not by lies. So even if you're not a Christian, I'm a Christian. My values are clearly defined in the Bible. I'm not going to push them on anyone else, but they help me know what's right and what's wrong. But just if you do this, live not by lies, just that. I won't speak a lie. I won't repeat a lie. And then you're going to have grounding.
How many people feel the way you do in your area? Do you have a chance at actually winning your assembly race?
Well, I do think that the silent majority agree. As you had mentioned before, San Luis Obispo County does still have a conservative majority. It may be getting smaller, but we're encouraged by the youth that's registering to vote. And my district is already gerrymandered to include Carmel and Monterey, beautiful areas that I love. And topographically, they have a lot in common with us. I would be blessed to represent Big Sur and Monterey and all these iconic places.
But it's polluted with the left.
They are very full of a leftist agenda, and the colleges in our area are going to have, young people who haven't fully formed their views and are just going along with what their professors tell them, some of whom are telling them lies. So I think it really would take people that are no party preference and all Republicans showing up, people registering who have traditional values. And that doesn't mean discrimination. Please don't think that voting for sensibility and culture, parental rights, and for deregulation of business. There's a stranglehold on business in this state, which is making it harder and harder to even continue. That's why it's the middle and upper middle class who are leaving. Well, people, those are your employers. Don't let people say hate the rich. I mean, their definition of rich is so vague. Anyway, if you own a house in California, you're a millionaire. You know, your house is
Absolutely.
worth so much. They would call you rich. So don't let them leave, but vote. Independents need to vote for me, and libertarians need to vote for me, and no party preference. And people don't even need to re-register. Just vote the right way. Now, in the primary, you would need to be a registered Republican to vote for me. But I want to represent all constituents, for stand up for parental rights, stand up for girls' rights, and stand up for businesses to operate with less interference at every level, small and large. The state is creeping into every aspect of businesses. As two small businesses that our family runs, we feel that distinctly. And it's getting to the point where it's untenable, even if you're well established like us. I want to stop that. For one, I just want to say no more regulations, no more interference. Similar to what's gone on in the fire insurance industry in our state, that's because the state became involved. So do you want the state involved in your business? Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to drive your business out, like they've driven so many insurance companies out of our state.
And to
Led to
what
this.
end? I mean, aren't they shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak? But there's more to it than just financial stability on the parts of the people on the left who are running the state. It is again going back to the, if you can bring down California, you can bring down the rest of the nation. Bring down the rest of the nation. You don't have anybody standing in the way again of the New World Order. That might sound like a conspiracy theory, but it's biblical, isn't it? But it's also biblical that we're supposed to stand up against it. We're not supposed to just sit back and remain silent and say nothing. Paul, how many times did he get arrested after he was told, don't talk the name of Jesus, don't go out there and preach to anybody, or we will beat you nearly to death, leave you for dead? They did all of that. Now, I'm not suggesting that's going to happen to you, and you put yourself up to that kind of scrutiny. That was the Apostle Paul, but there's all kinds of examples through Scripture where you do God's will, not man's will. Regardless of what man says, you do God's will. So all these Christians and pastors who are saying, oh, we got to comply, we got to do everything the government says because the Bible tells us to. And what is that, Romans 8? Well, I can show you so many other scriptures. I mean, what was that applying to? Was that applying to the church leaders of the day? Was that applying to the Sanhedrin, which the Jewish people made their own little army, basically? Who did that apply to? Did Jesus follow that? Did Jesus say, oh, well, gosh, I guess I can't say anything. They don't like what I'm saying, so I better just sit here and do nothing?
Yeah, we are called to be strong and courageous, for the Lord our God is with us. Yeah, that's Joshua 1:9. Another scripture that I live by is Daniel 11:32. For the people of God shall stand firm and take action. So you'll stand on your values because you know what they are. Then you'll move and take action to defend them. Daniel, I encourage people to read the book of Daniel. He was kidnapped from his culture, taken to the prominent culture, and even castrated, the poor young man. So his future was stolen in that way, like many trans kids. Have parallel there. He was brave, strong, and never stopped serving God publicly. And he was able to be a witness and even have an influence over the culture where he was surrounded. He was definitely the minority. So you may feel that way here in California, but we are called to be brave. We are called to be like Charlie Kirk and stand up. And it's one of the things you can do. You're correct. You don't even have to necessarily run for office. You can serve on a board or a commission. So I encourage you to contact your clerk recorder's office in your county, contact your Republican Party. Our party has a list and a way that we're helping you run for office. We're all working together here.
Good. College boards, by the way, you can actually run to be on a college board of directors.
Yeah.
How powerful could that be? I have some friends who have done it and they ran unopposed. Nobody else was even trying. So they won, and thank God they did. They've done amazing work. It's hard, but we can't just sit back and do nothing now. All my fellow people on the right who keep saying this, oh, I just want things to return back to normal. Now that Trump's in office, it's okay. I don't have to do anything, worry about anything. Normal's done.
Yeah.
We have to insist on that if we want to get back to that, so, some kind of semblance of sanity in our government. We've got to get involved. I'm sorry if this sounds like I'm lecturing, but all I'm asking you to do is just step it up a little bit and actually get registered to vote. Start there.
Yeah.
Registertovote.ca.gov, registertovote.ca.gov. How do we find you? How do we follow what you're doing? How do we help? Can we help financially? What do you need? Volunteers? How can we help?
Yes, please. My website is kessler4ca.com. That's KESSLERFORCA.com. On that website, you can register to be a supporter. You can follow the link to my e-fundraising. This costs money. I've already spent a lot of my own money. There's an amount you're allowed to spend in California. Most candidates do have to do that. This is a state level office. So I appreciate any contributions that have already been made. And I'm putting in the work, driving all the way up to Santa Cruz and Monterey from my part in the southern end of my district. And please, I need volunteers. This weekend, there's a parade in my community, and I've got wonderful people willing to walk along with me and sign up and take part. And I do. When I've been speaking lately, people are like, I saw you speak at the Charlie Kirk Vigil, and I want to get involved. So there's an awakening going on. Number one, I pray for revival. People need to find Jesus, because then you're going to understand. It doesn't mean you're out of this world. You will still have to live in this world until your time comes to enter glory and have peace. Meanwhile, we need to do the Lord's work here. But please join me in that work at kessler4ca.com, KESSLERFORCA.com. And I would love to have support financially and physically and volunteers. We've got a team, and we're adding to our team at all times. This is not a thing I can do on my own.
I think you're fantastic. I love what you do. I love what you've done, and Lord willing, what you will do. Thank you so
and I
much
want
for
to
your
plug No on 50. Hey, people, register to vote. You've still got time until October 20th to register in our silly, I'm sure you agree with me. Why are we having an election this year? Why can't we just wait till next year and put,
especially when it's costing $150 million
pet project on the ballot? But yes, you're going to have the opportunity to vote. So register and vote by October 18th. Stop by, do it online. And you can get a registration form at the post office, at the DMV. You can get it at your local Republican headquarters. Even the Democrat headquarters will hand you one. They're not supposed to tell you. No one's supposed to tell you how to vote. And vote no on Prop 50, because that's a plan from Governor Newsom, Governor Hairdo, as you call him, to try to ensure his election to president and to ensure one party ruling our nation.
It's bypassing the will of the people.
Yeah,
we voted
exactly.
that we want a nonpartisan board deciding districts. And he is trying to bypass that. And it's all under the guise of, well, Texas is doing it. Well, Texas had a census, and they changed it according to the census. And that's what that is all about. So California is reacting by saying, well, we have to counteract what Texas is doing, even though it's going against the will of the people. It's unconstitutional. We want to do it anyway. Yes, on 50. They don't even explain what it is, other than say, stop Trump's election rigging, I think is what they're calling it. Well, I'll tell you what, stop Governor Hairdo's election rigging. No on 50. No on 50.
Right. No on 50. And there's going to be some rallies coming up for that. I'll be speaking at them. It is galvanizing our party. So that's one thing, galvanizing people with sense. So we do need to stand up to that, because it's an idea that will make us an undemocratic culture. It'll just put power in the nation. It'll basically turn the whole nation into what California currently is. Do we want that? I love California, and I want California to be run better by better people.
Yes, amen. Thank you, my friend. I will talk to you soon. Anytime I can help you, you let me know, okay?
Thank you, Charlie. Glad to be on.
Absolutely. And you can help support this show at charliesimons.com. Buy some merchandise. You'll be helping this show grow. Buy some of that merchandise. Click on that merch store tab at the top of the page. You can contact me. You can book a guest slot directly. You want to be on a show? You want to be on a podcast? You haven't done it yet? You've got some ideas? You got an event coming up, something like that? You can do it there, charliesimons.com. You can support me financially. There's many different ways, including Venmo there. There's also every show. The shows are always on there. So no matter what happens with social media, like they shut me down on Facebook and Instagram, I have no more pages there. They have banned me from the platform because I violated some community standard that they didn't bother explaining what it was. So I don't have that voice anymore. 40,000 people suddenly gone. I can't let them know when I have these shows. So if you could let them know, and if you can share this show and like it while you're there, hit that like button, and that helps break down that whole algorithm thing. I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate you going to my website, charliesimons.com, CharlieSimons.com. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America bless God.